Alright, welcome back, everybody. We're on week 10 of this fantastic game. We have 3 new definitions. It's going to be a rough one. I can already tell you this is going to be a rough one. Let's see what we have. First things first. Let's just call this 1, 2, 3. Until we can wrap our head around what the heck is going on here. Okay, maybe maybe numbers was a bad idea. Let's call this X, Y, and Z. X, Y, and Z. That might help us a little more. So X. File that. These kind of look like variables, maybe, right? So X 0, 1 equals Y. Y. What the heck does that mean? Okay. X 0, 1, 2, 3. Like a variable of something. 1, 3, 4. So Y, Z. So 1 equals 1. Oh! You know what I think this is? I'm thinking this is true, false, true, false, true, false. Go down here. Call this true. Call this false. Yup. True, those are some true statements. Let me guess. What are they going to say for false? False. Those are some false statements. True. Very funny. Okay. So what would we call X? I mean, I don't hate leaving it X per se. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Maybe statement? That's just really long. That might be overly long for some. Let's just try statement. Let's try it with that. So first off, 1 equals 2, false. We might want to shorten that to like T and F eventually, but let's just keep going. What are we looking at here? First off, let's mess with the formatting again. You know me. You know me. Can't resist. Just. You know what? Good enough. I was gonna mess with the formatting again because I can't resist, but the 1 equals 2 minus 1 is true. Equals 1 plus 1 is true. Fantastic. You know, when I was brought onto this project, not at all what I expected. My boss called me in, said the head of materials science, some Douglas Doppler, requested an astronomy consultant. I was quickly briefed, agreed, and now I'm 2,000 miles away working through some cryptic alien puzzles with you 3 blokes. You were briefed even briefly. Why didn't you know what to expect from the mission? I'm an astronomer, that's what I expected. Some of this is way out of my wheelhouse, I'll admit. Linguistic analysis in support of translating an extraterrestrial artifact. That was the title description of my office desk. I'd say so far it's been an accurate depiction, though similarly uncharted territory. Yeah, you've certainly contributed to a good chunk of what we've gotten through. Same with Dr. Batista. Don't sell yourself short, Dr. Ackers. You recognize the hydrogen light frequency. We wouldn't have gotten anywhere without that. That's true. That is true. He might be slightly stupid, but he's necessarily stupid. Okay, so now we're getting a little into the deep end here. You know what? Let me rename. I think let's go back to X. Statement seems very long. Go back to X for now. You know what? I forgot from last time. Let's go run through these really quick. Make sure these all make sense, right? Hypothesis, line. That makes sense. Length, yep. I think we did those ones already, but let's just keep going. Shape, I like that. Shape. This is perimeter. Boom. Area, right? Yep. What do they call this? Container struct? Struct? You know, I don't hate struct. I think we'll go with object still for now, but I don't hate struct. Quantity, amount, number. Leave count since we're using the hash as sort of our separator. Round. Close enough round approximately. Round is fine. For this one, keep going, continued. So it is continued. Okay, we're on the right path. We're not totally crazy. Not totally crazy. Just a little crazy. X. I don't hate X. X. Let's go with that for now. Alright, so 1 equals 1. That's true. 1 equals 2 is false. 2 equals 2 is true. So, does x0 equal x1? So does true equal false? False. Does x1 equal x2? Does false equal true? Also false. So does x0 equal x2? That's true, because we're talking about true false equations here, right? It's not about like the actual if 1 equals 2, it's just about is true also false or whatever. Dr. Ackers, if this alien decryption is out of your wheelhouse, what would you consider in your wheelhouse? I'm an astronomer. I expect to consult more on astronomy. You know, stars, galaxies, black holes, neutron stars, planets, moons. Not so much decrypting alien or radio transmission. And your research focus? My dissertation was titled Radio Astronomy to Map the Milky Way's Elemental Composition. Radio astronomy? Like using an optical telescope, except instead of visible light, you're looking for radio waves. Atoms and compounds naturally emit electromagnetic radiation, always at distinct and consistent frequency bands. Pick up on those bands, you know what you're looking at. Fascinating. You're mapping the invisible. I'm sure that'll come into play. Okay. We have a new word. Whoops. I'm gonna save for that bad boy. The old classic, question mark. Oh, you know what? I bet this is not. Not? Oh, I think they agree. Not works. Yeah, okay, I think they agree. So let's say we want a space after. Not a new line. Right, because true, not false. And let's go back. Let's go back. You know we gotta do our formatting. So true is not false. Oh, gotta do the same thing for false. False is not true. We have true, false, false. Ooh, the X naught must be true. True? It's like a flip. You kind of flip it. That makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. X0 is true. X1 is false equals variable 0. Oh, let's see what they have to say. Why is this transmission asking for 3 responses at once? That's annoying. That'll make it tougher. Imagine that's the point. The aliens don't want us to stumble through their message, brute forcing through all the signals. It's an intentional roadblock, something we must overcome to understand. Well, they ask for a lot. Suppose they are emphatic about us understanding the meteor's message. Yeah, so this is just to show we're not just blindly guessing true false. Alright, so first off, x0 is true. So x1 equals not true. So false equals variable 0. Alright, so we want false and variable 1 equal to not x1, which was not true. So this is true. Okay, yes. Again, we're getting a little in the weeds here, but this should be true. True, and x3 equals true equals variable 2. True. Fantastic. Fantastic. Dr. Akers, you mentioned elemental composition in your dissertation title. Help me understand. Ooh, right. I'd love to share. All matter is made of atoms. We can classify and characterize the atoms if we count their protons and electrons. Hydrogen has 1 proton and 1 electron. Helium's got 2 of each. Carbon's got 6. And while there are many elements, some are more common than others in the universe. So by proportional frequency, you're saying we know that across the universe, hydrogen is more prevalent than carbon? Ooh, yeah, way more prevalent. And I can give you the exact numbers too. Pretty much the whole universe is hydrogen and helium, about 98%. You count by mole rather than by mass. The universe at scale is shockingly homogeneous. I wouldn't go that far. Same atoms mostly, and how they're arranged in space makes all the difference. There's a lot of mass in one stellar zip code, and they come together to form a star. Suddenly the star fuses atoms together. That's what finally makes the new elements. If the star accretes too much mass or runs out of new atoms to fuse, it goes supernova and explodes with even bigger, newer atoms. And if a star is dense enough, it collapses into a black hole. What happens then? Not sure. Black holes are a mathematical curiosity, but no one's ever seen one. Actually, not too long ago, they had the the first real view of one with that telescope, which is pretty cool to kind of see. Even though it looks like a vague smudge, but you know, it makes sense. It makes sense. Alright, so we have another question mark. The classic. True. Something true is true. True something false is false. False something false is false. Okay. So now I think we're getting into the NAND stuff, and or XOR. Yeah. So true and true is true. True and false is false. False and false is false. So in this case, I think what we're looking at is an AND. Yep, and they agree. I think they agree. And what does AND mean? As in a logical AND. Huh, never heard of that. Maybe you should check the reference section under logic. Maybe I will. And again, let's go to our dictionary. Let's fix that. In fact, let's just say, stop making a new line, because it seems most of the time we kind of want that to be the case anyway, that it's in. So true and false is false. Fantastic. Alright, so true, true, false. True and true is true. True and false, false. False and false is false. So, true and false. False. True and false and false. The same message again? Or the same free message again? Those boogers. I, for one, am thankful. I want to squeeze every last drop of meaning out of this message. This is their method of choice, so be it. Well, I admire your intrigue, Dr. Collins. So true, false, and false is what we said. And false and false. Fantastic. Alright, here we go. So true. Something. True something true is true. True something false is true. Go back to our logic. This or maybe? Or false. True. True or false. So true true is true. True false is true. False false is false. It's gotta be or. Gotta be or. Yeah. Go to the old dictionary. Put or in there. Looks like they agree with us. Or, logical or. Never checked the reference tab, did you? What? No, of course I did. Dr. Bees, do you think you could explain it for me? No. Honestly, Dr. Hackers, you're better than this. So true or false is true, because it's whatever goes first, right? Fantastic. So true or true is true. True or false is true. False or false is false. True, true, false. True. And false. True. And do they have to say first? Yet another threer. You know what? If that's how the aliens are gonna play, then fine. I'll play. Bring the triples on. Dr. Actors, I admire your grit. Me too. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. I get these logic ones a lot easier than the math ones, I'll tell you what. And it might be controversial. Might be controversial. I think we're going to change. How many words we figured out? I think we're going to change this to be inline as well, is what I'm thinking. Maybe leave no space on that side. A double test, no triple? Oh, come on. Just when I was getting fired up. Dr. Ackers, it's a good point you bring up. There's always a bit of meaning in the way each transmission is structured. Oh yeah, that's definitely what I'm saying. No, you weren't, but that's okay. Brought it to my attention. You know why they're giving us a double instead of a triple? No. Look at the transmission. They're directly comparing and or. They're delineating the difference between the two. Didn't even get to look at the message, to be honest. I'm too busy formatting. Plus, equals is already correct. Multiplication, same thing. Divide, same thing. Whoops. Divide and subtract. Should make it all inline, so that's a little better, yeah. Alright, so x0. I hate that it's x for some reason, but I'll leave it be. Is 1 plus 1 equals 2. 1 equals 3. So XO is true, X1 is false. So X or, so true or false is true. True and false is false. Right? Does that make sense? So true or false is true. True and false is false. Fantastic. Okay. Okay. This is an interesting one. So first off, start from the bottom, work our way up. So first off, we know that variable 0 is true. They already gave us that. True. Variable 1 is true and false. false. Variable 2, x2, which is or true. So true or true is true. And the last one is not x2, so false. I have a good feeling about this. There it is, my favorite green light. Fantastic. And now we have a new grouping. Logic. We ran through that. Nice. And another new signal. Okay. Look at logic. We have not and or. So this must be XOR? Or is this not logic anymore? First off, put our old question mark. See what we're working with. So 1. Oh. Greater than, maybe? Let's try greater than. Right? Because 1 is greater than 0. 0 is not greater than 1. 1 is not greater than 1. And perfect. Looks like we agree. You always know it's good when Batista when Batista says it's clean. So 1 plus 1 is just true, right? In fact, I know, I'm going crazy, but keep up with the formatting. First off, let's go back to underline. And let's look at no space, but break on double. What's that look like? I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Yeah, I don't hate it. Alright, this is gonna be true. Seven is greater than 8, which is false. And 8 is greater than 8, false. What does he say? The triples are back. Let's do this. Yep. And 9 is greater than 8, true. Oh, if I can spell, false. False. Fantastic. And another one. And another one. Let me guess. Less than. The cleanliness is increasing. Yep. So true, because 5 less than 6. Perfect. And we got true, false, false. I almost did it again. False. Get running. Okay, now we got some questions. we got some questions. Ah, so the variables are operators. Or less than, greater than, equal than, right? Yep. It's all coming together. So we're saying, first off, let's start with variable 0. Get that right off the bat. So 1 plus 2 greater than 1. And 4 divided by 4 is equal to 1. And sorry, the formatting of power of, you know what? Can I shrink this? Let's give it a new line first off. In fact, no space. Let's make it like the other operators. And then can I make this a caret? The up caret symbol. I can. Save that. Recompile. I think our boy Batista is going to call that clean. Clean. Yep. Wow, look at that. Even better. So where were we? We're on variable 2. So 8 squared is less than 8 cubed. And finally, variable 3, 16 greater than 8 times 1. Fantastic. Awesome. All right, we have another new signal. So, what is our last logic piece missing? I think it's XOR, right? True. That'd be XOR. Let me recompile the question mark just to be sure. Maybe not. Hold on. 0 is less than 1. True. And x1, 1 is less than 2. That's true. Equals true. XOR. I mean, it must be XOR. Must be, because that's the last word we're missing from the logic steps. Say XOR. Save that. Mamma jamma. And how does XOR work? Let's review. So that's the one where if they're matching, it's false. If they're not, it's true. So to make this correct, right? Because XOR, this x2 needs to be false. Equal to true. So we would say that 0 greater than 2. Nope. Nope, had that wrong. Why is that? I mean, is it less than?
It's not XOR then, right? Now that's interesting. Yeah, what is? The previous transmission defined XOR, but it feels different than the other logical operations it's played. Response was different for sure. We weren't defining true or false. It was more like we're figuring something out that 0 is less than 2. Exactly. We're using logic to deduce a piece of information. Let's see what we gotta deduce now. What are they trying to tell me with that? What are they trying to say? Let's see what the other transmission is. Ah, I see. They're trusting us to define the innards of a X ourselves. Our responsibilities are growing. How does that make you feel? It's a challenge for sure, but the great Dr. Alan Ackers never been known to shy away from challenge. Regret asking him? Yep. So it's not XOR, first off. Let's get that out of the way. Go back to question mark. So we're looking at variable 0 is greater than variable 1. True. And variable 1 is greater than variable 2. True. Something. What? True. Lost me a little bit. Lost me a little bit. Think. Let's go back to the last one. So what are they wanting from us here? So true. But I think they want an expression. I think they want an expression. So let's say variable 0 is greater than variable 2. Interesting. Still a little lost on this question mark here. So x0 is equal to x1 or x2. So x1 is true and x2 is true. Then something x0 equals something. Variable 0 is true in that case, right? Start with that. So variable 1 is equal to x0 equal true. Right? Let me go back. Still can't think of what this question mark is. Let's keep going. Variable 1 is true. I believe. Oh, I see what they're telling us. Hold on. Kind of. Kind of. You know what I wonder? Is this then? Aha! Then. Seems pretty straightforward. Right? So, for example, let's go back in our transmissions. So. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. And you know what? To make this more clear, we're going to go to X. We're going to say new. X0 equals X1 or X2. So X1 is true and X2 is true. Then X0 is true. Yes. So we're doing if-then statements, basically. But then if we go down, if X1 is true and X2 is false, then X0 is still true. We're doing or. So true, false is true. And if X1 is false and X2 is false, it's a double false, and we're looking at false. Okay, we got there. We got there. Fantastic. And here I think we have if. Yep. If you believe that to be an accurate representation for signal -37, then Dr. Bees, I will support your decision. Yeah, so let's go back to fix the variable now that we figured that out. So x1 is the opposite of x0. If x0 is true, then x1 is false. If x0 is false, then x1 is true. Fantastic. Fantastic. Alright. So if x0 is true and x1 is true, then what is false? If x0, so if variable 0 is less than variable 1 and x1 is true, variable 1 is less than variable 2, then what is false? That the 2 is greater than 1, 1 is greater than 0, thus 0 cannot be greater than 2. So then what is false? x2. Fantastic. Alright, little logic puzzles now. Must admit, I'm excited to see and, or, and then. Even though this is all mathematical logic, they at least seem more like words. Might have to share this with my husband before my excitement boils over. Tell your husband, this mission's top secret. You can't tell anyone. You told him about the mission? Harry, what am I supposed to say? I've been away from home for over 2 months now. When did you tell him? After 2 weeks. 2 weeks? That's all you could make it? I told my wife after the mission brief. What? What? You are all rule breakers. Just me and Dr. Bees that actually keep things under wraps. Easy for you, Alan. Why is that? You're not married. Oh, whatever. I'll go tell all my friends about the mission then. Doppler already knows. Haha. Shut it. Alright, so what are we looking at? So x0. Variable 1, or variable 0 equals variable 1 times 2. So variable 0 is 3. Variable 1 is 4. If x1 and x2, then what? Oh, see, this is what's great about this game. These are becoming just legitimate sentences. These are real sentences. So if x1 is 3, right? So if we're saying variable 0 is 3, We're saying variable 1 is 4. Then false. Because 3 is not equal to 4 times 2. No. If x1 and x2 back to our logic. That'd be false. Has to be false, right? Oh, because they're not calling x0 at all. They're just saying if variable 0 is 3, if variable 1 is 4, then what? Then it's just true because we're not calling variable 0 at all. Or not. Or not. What am I missing here? Let's think about it this way. If the result is false, double true and a false, then it's an XOR? Is that what their question is? Think about this. If x1 and x2 Hmm. Go back on our transmissions. Oh! Or does it want not x0? Then x0 equals false. Ah, okay. I see what they're saying now. The variable 0 equals the negative variable 1. If variable 0 greater than 0, then what? Then variable 1 less than. Okay. We're getting it. We're still doing the logic. Oh boy. Wow, okay. A lot. if shape area equals and shape 10, shape 1. You know what? I think our question mark is kind of correct here because they're leaving it questionable, and then you say test this, right? Shape 0 area equals 8, and shape 1 area equals 10. Then shape 1 is greater than shape 0. So if shape 2 area is 9, then what? Then shape 2 area is less than shape 2 area less than shape 1 area. Not quite, not quite, not quite. Simplify, simplify. Shape 2 is smaller than shape 1. Not quite. Shape 2 is greater than shape 0? Quite, not quite. Bum, bum, bum. Hmm. Hmm. Think. Because we still have the question mark. Is it large? Is this like larger? Hmm. Like larger than? Really makes sense though, does it? 9. Then shape 2 larger than shape 0. Interesting. Interesting. Why is that different from greater than? I guess because shapes maybe it matters more. Just leave it at larger. And so I must assume that this is then smaller. Of course I should probably read it before I say that. So if the area is 8 and shape 1 area is 10, then shape 0 smaller than shape 1. Okay. Shape 2 area 9. Then what? And shape 1 larger than shape 2. Oh, so they're saying then complete this and shape 1 larger than shape 2. So shape 0 smaller shape 2. Yeah, okay. So larger and smaller is different than less than and greater than, which is interesting. Maybe it's the difference between like math and words? Whoa, okay. Let's shorten this. Big, small. It sounds kind of dumb. Sounds like you're a caveman, but it works. So shape 0 is 1. Shape 1 is 8. Shape 2 is 27. Shape 0 area is smaller than shape 1 area. Then shape 1 big, shape 2. Shape 2 big, shape 1. Then shape 2 big, shape 0. Again, sounds like caveman. So they're saying if shape 2 is bigger than shape 1, then shape 2 is bigger than shape 0. That is correct. The first statement is saying the shape 0 area is less than the shape 1 area, and shape 1 is bigger than shape 0. That's correct. And they're also saying that shape 0 is smaller than shape 1, shape 1 is smaller than shape 2, and shape 0 smaller than shape 2. I don't love the terminology though. Big, small. There's got to be a better one for that one. What's going on with shape here as well? Fix that. If shape 0 is not shape 1 and shape 0 bigger than not shape 1. Okay, hold on. Getting interesting here. Okay, you guys figure out the difference between greater than and big? They seem the same. My mind's in the same place. So far we've only used big in regards to area. If that holds, I can say that big reserves a specific property of geometry. Added layer of extraction. Yeah. Here's language begin to bridge from math to more abstract language. So we're going somewhere. Somewhere with meaning, I hope. I wonder what their hypotheses are going to be. I bet there's a better word for this that I'm just not thinking of right now. But let's see. So if x0 and x1 and x2, then what? So we're saying if shape 0 is not the same as shape 1. If shape 0 equal to not shape 1. Right. And shape 0 is larger than not shape 1. And shape 0 is smaller than not shape 1. So shape 0 they're not the same. And if 1 bigger than not the shape, And smaller than not the shape? Then shape 0 equals shape 1? But they already said that's not the case. Then what? Then one of these are false, right? Just false? I don't know. I'm missing something here. Like, what do they want from me here? I'm missing. He is. The old dictionary. Small, big, if, then. For and not fall true. Missing. So if shape 0 is not shape 1, no, I think. Dictionary. Then I guess we could say then x1 or x2 false? No, not quite it either. Then x0 equals false. Quite it. X. Guess I'll just try all those, but maybe I'm missing something. Okay, we do have an idea. Let's see what they say. Now, could all three of the x's be true? What? Same thought is in my head. Oh, really? Guess great minds think alike, or at least they struggle together. How do you interpret these x's? Shape 0 equals not shape 1. 0 is not 1. Shape 0 big, not shape. 0 is not. More area, right? Okay. Shape 0 is small, not shape. Not less area. and they're the same size. That's what I was thinking too. That's what I'm thinking too. What does that mean? Then shape 0. Shape 0. Not big, small. Shape 1. Not big. Or small shape 1. It's not quite it either. Shape 1. Area? Shape 0. Area? Shape 1. So, it's because bigger and smaller have to do with area rather than dealing with like numerical value. I'll have to think on that. Something going on there. Also, our poor dictionary screwed up all over again. Fix this. Zero, shape 1, shape 0 area is 1, shape 1 area is 1, shape 0 area equals shape 1 area. This is a 4-point shape. It's a 5-point shape. They have the same area. They have the same area, but they're not the same shape. So it's true and false. Because one has 5 points, one has 4. Okay, okay, that makes sense. Oof. Another tough week, I'm telling you, they're making us work for it. Got from old Doug Doppler. Thanks for coming. I saw the investigation. Investigating the meteorite has made some headway. I'll have more to share soon. Anyways, give me the rundown. Logic. Logic? Mm-hmm. Point. Dr. Bees can answer. Or not. Or at least going through their dictionary. X, true, false, not, and, or. Greater than, less than, bigger, smaller, than, if. I think I get the picture, but where do you think they're going with all this? Why logic? Logic underpins information. Information describes the world. Describing the world is communication. I saw it another way. Logic gives us the tools to associate and compare information. We may use it to build sentences. Each week, the meteor puts a new topic of discussion on the table. The aim isn't always clear, but the time it will be. Anyways, any guesses are Employee of the Week? For the looks like Layla, daughter again. This is the little music trophy. I think the astronomer pitched in to Hefty Shore. I think everyone on the team did a great job working together. Well then, congratulations to Batista, our Employee of the Week. Congrats. Thank you. Whatever. Meet again next week. As always, you four, get some sleep. Made some good progress that week. See how many translations or transmissions. Week 10. That was 28 transmissions. We learned 12 new words. I mean, look at all those new words. Total transmissions, 148.
We're up to 37 total words. We covered logic, numerical comparisons, propositional logic, geometry logic. Look at all these words. We named X, true, false, not, and, or, greater than, less than, then, if, big, and small. That is really? Batista yet again? Batista. Nothing. Scary. Dear Diary, assuming the meteor will one day lead us to building sentences with each transmission, what would they look like? Grammar is helpful. A framework to learn where they expect subjects, verbs, and objects. Is it universal? Perpetually valuable. Dude, they might not even structure sentences like we do. Albert says, sometimes when one is so burrowed in one's work, it's easy to lose sight of what's been accomplished. I know I've been there, but now I hope everyone's doing okay. You know, Dr. Beast is like, just thinking of bees. He's always thinking of bees. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Alright, so let's see if they have anything to say, but other than that, I think that was a great week, and be back with the next one. So, bye for now, and see you all later.